Neuvillette, have you ever heard of Site Reliability Engineering, or SRE for short? It's quite a balance they strive to keep.
Ah, no, not in detail. Do enlighten me, Hu Tao. How do these engineers maintain this balance you speak of?
Well, software systems, by their nature, are always shifting and changing. Think of them like a constantly evolving landscape. To achieve perfect stability, the system would have to remain completely unchanged.
Completely unchanged? You mean like in a vacuum? What exactly does that entail?
Exactly, yes. It's like creating a world where no one updates the code, the hardware doesn't change, and even the user base stays static. It's quite the impossible dream.
I see. But isn't change essential, especially in software? How do SREs manage the change while maintaining system stability?
That's the tricky part. They seek a sweet spot between stability and agility. Stability is crucial in production, ensuring everything works as expected. But they also value agility to adapt swiftly to new situations.
So, does this mean they need to sometimes sacrifice one for the other? Perhaps maintain agility at the cost of stability?
Precisely. It's a delicate dance. At times they might choose agility first, doing what's called exploratory coding. It's like diving into unknown waters to understand a problem better. Temporary, since it doesn't go to production.
Exploratory coding. So this is more about learning rather than creating an immediate, stable product.
Exactly. It helps identify the real issues through trial and error before carrying out more stable coding. The key is, it's temporary and not meant to be the final product.
That's fascinating, Hu Tao. Does this approach affect developers differently? How do SREs support them?
SREs work to make systems reliable, while affecting developers as little as possible. They aim to ensure changes in production are visible to quickly identify and fix bugs.
That must demand quite the structured approach. What sort of processes do they implement to achieve this?
They use practices and tools that enhance reliability, like building procedures that catch issues early without hindering innovation.
Would you say reliability can fuel innovation then? A paradoxical relationship, if you will.
Absolutely. It might seem counterintuitive, but reliable processes can indeed boost agility. They streamline identifying and resolving issues, allowing developers to innovate more freely.
And what about the code itself? How do they ensure this balance reflects in the code they write?
By understanding every line written could introduce instability. They scrutinize code, striving to write only what's essential, focusing on what truly advances business goals.
Sounds like a careful, measured approach is vital. Do they rely on specific strategies to achieve this harmony?
Yes, strategies like minimizing unnecessary complexity are crucial. They prefer systems that are straightforward and predictable, not full of surprises.
Much unlike a wild detective novel, I suppose. The allure lies in predictability.
Exactly. Robert Muth, a Google engineer, once mentioned, "We actually want our code to be as boring as possible." It's a positive trait in this field.
Intriguing. So, simplicity is key. Less chaos likely leads to better focus and efficiency, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. The fewer distractions, the better analyzed and managed every innovation becomes. It's like honing in on the pure essence of engineering.
And how about the engineers themselves? Are they ever reluctant to let their creations go, given the urge for continuous innovation?
Oh, definitely. Many engineers form an emotional bond with their code, making it tough to part ways. But SREs emphasize the importance of trimming away the non-essential.
A healthy perspective, it seems. Encouraging developers to let go of non-essential code might reduce liability and make for a cleaner system.
Precisely, Neuvillette. The key is effective code management, nurturing what's essential and letting go of the rest.
And is there a sentiment that every new line of code presents a new risk or liability as well?
Correct. Every addition is potentially unstable. SRE practices encourage that all code must serve a fundamental purpose, contributing positively to business goals.
Such an intricate balance indeed. So the journey of maintaining stability and agility is ongoing.
Forever, it's a continual quest to refine and improve, like balancing on a teetering seesaw, but rewarding when done right.
You certainly make it sound engaging and challenging. I wonder what more there is to uncover about software simplicity.
Oh, there's always another layer when it comes to code. Shall we dive into more about why boring is beautiful?
So Hu Tao, why would anyone ever say that boring is positive, especially in software engineering? I thought excitement was the pinnacle of creation.
Ah, Neuvillette, in software, boring is actually a good thing. Think about those detective novels full of twists and suspense. Fun to read, right? But imagine trying to debug that kind of unpredictability in code.
Ah, I see. Unpredictability sounds like it would lead to chaos. But what exactly is this boring quality that's valued in software?
It's all about predictability and reliability, my friend. When a system behaves exactly as expected, no surprises, it's actually far more useful. Imagine having peace of mind, knowing your code performs without hiccups.
Predictability really does seem to be key then. But I'm curious, how does one achieve such simplicity amidst the complexity of coding?
We draw inspiration from Fred Brooks. He talks about two types of complexity, essential and accidental. Essential complexity is like the natural complexity of solving a problem. But the trick is to minimize the accidental complexity, those unnecessary complications we add ourselves.
Essential versus accidental complexity, quite a thought. How do engineers manage to minimize this accidental complexity?
By focusing on what's necessary, SREs push back against introducing needless complexity. They keep an eye out for it, rigorously removing non-essential elements to keep systems as simple as possible.
But what happens if a piece of code or concept becomes obsolete? Isn't there sometimes a tendency to hang on to what's already been written?
Oh, that's a common pitfall. Engineers do get attached to their code, but keeping obsolete code around just creates confusion. It's like keeping expired food. You'll regret it once it starts smelling or rather causing bugs.
Interesting analogy. So eliminating this outdated code contributes to a system's cleanliness and reliability?
Exactly. Clean systems are easier to understand and maintain. Historical incidents show the dangers of holding on to inactive code. Knight Capital had a costly lesson when unused code was accidentally activated.
Ah, that definitely sounds like a nightmare scenario. Are there any specific guidelines that SREs follow to avoid such pitfalls?
They do. SREs encourage thorough code reviews and regular pruning of unused code. They make it a habit to ask, does this piece serve a current essential function?
Does this disciplined approach then lead to a more robust and reliable final product?
Precisely. The fewer unnecessary elements, the more solid the foundation of the software. It's a bit like tending a bonsai tree. It's all about careful trimming.
Such meticulous care. I suppose this refined simplicity really defines good software engineering then.
Definitely. Remember, in this field, the allure isn't in complexity but in clarity and functionality. Boring means it works every time as expected.
So reliability and simplicity seem to be intimately linked in software, rather than being opposites.
Absolutely. It's through simplicity that reliability is enhanced. Complexity can obscure problems, while simplicity reveals them, allowing for quick fixes.
This whole process must drastically improve response times when issues do arise, right?
Yes, when the scope is clear, identifying and fixing bugs becomes swift and efficient. Everyone's happier, from developers to users.
And what about using new technologies or methodologies? Do they ever introduce unnecessary complexities?
They can, and that's why SREs are cautious. New isn't always better. The focus remains on whether it adds genuine value without complicating things unnecessarily.
I suppose it's about finding the right balance between innovation and functional simplicity.
Exactly, Neuvillette. It's the heart of sound software practice, keeping things clear-cut so that innovation can truly flourish without tripping over itself.
I must say, the world of software sounds like quite the dance between seeming simplicity and underlying complexity.
And a beautiful one at that. Every line of simple code contributes to a grander symphony of functionality.
It's really enlightening, Hu Tao. Each detail adds a layer to this fascinating field of engineering.
True simplicity is something to admire even when hidden from view. But there's even more. Shall we delve into why less is more in code?
I'd love to hear more. Lead the way, Hu Tao. Hu Tao, you mentioned simplicity being crucial in code management. Can you elaborate on that?
Certainly, Neuvillette. Simplicity in code management revolves around avoiding what's known as software bloat and unnecessary complexity.
Software bloat, you say? How does that manifest within a system?
Software bloat happens when code gets piled up. Extra lines that add no real value but still complicate things. It's like clutter in a room, making everything harder to find and manage.
Ah, sounds cumbersome. So code reduction is akin to tidying up?
Exactly. Clearing away the superfluous bits allows us to focus on the essential parts, making systems simpler and often more reliable.
And how does this affect the performance and stability of the system overall?
When code's less tangled, it's easier to maintain and debug, which directly boosts both performance and stability, helping new features integrate smoothly.
Interesting. What about APIs? How do they factor into this simplicity quest?
Writing minimal and clear APIs is key. They should be like well-laid paths, direct and purposeful, rather than a labyrinth.
A clear path indeed sounds inviting. What makes a good API then, in your opinion?
A good API should have only the necessary methods and functions. Imagine it as a menu with just a few but well-chosen dishes.
Does this approach tie into how responsibilities are managed within a system?
Absolutely. Modularity comes into play here. Each component should handle a distinct responsibility without overstepping into others' territory.
Modularity sounds like a foundation for order. How does it enhance system agility?
When components are modular, you can tweak one part without sending shockwaves through the entire system. It's agility, having the freedom to adapt swiftly.
And I'm guessing that's crucial, especially when updating or debugging the system.
Spot on! You can pinpoint issues faster and make adjustments without the fear of unintended consequences elsewhere.
Are there challenges in maintaining these modular principles across evolving projects?
Certainly. There's always the temptation to shortcut by merging responsibilities or adding just one more feature. Vigilance is needed to stick to simplicity.
And this vigilance must require quite a disciplined approach, wouldn't you say?
Indeed, it's about nurturing a mindset that values clarity over complexity, kind of like being both a gardener and a minimalist.
Both a gardener and a minimalist. What an intriguing analogy. Any practical steps to help maintain this balance?
Regular code reviews are a start. They help identify bloated sections that no longer serve a purpose and refine what remains.
Reviews sound essential, but can they also prevent future bloat?
Precisely. They create a culture of questioning new additions, ensuring every new line truly belongs. It's proactive as much as reactive.
And I assume this kind of precision also strengthens the overall architecture of a software project.
Exactly. It's about building strong, resilient frameworks that aren't easily swayed by the winds of new requirements or trends.
This methodical approach must influence how developers think about their code, right?
Yes, it cultivates a consciousness of crafting code with intention, seeing the bigger picture, rather than just piecemeal puzzle pieces.
The big picture, as you put it, must help teams work better together as well, helping each one see how their piece fits in.
Quite so. Unified vision is crucial, and simplicity is its ally. Every piece working harmoniously toward a shared goal.
And I presume communication within teams becomes clearer as well.
Definitely. Clear systems encourage clear communication as everyone is on the same page, aligned in purpose and understanding.
That's truly insightful, Hu Tao. The simplicity motto seems both a philosophy and a practice in software engineering.
It is. Embracing simplicity shapes how coders code and how teams build. It paves the way for growth unburdened by unnecessary weight.
I imagine it brings immense satisfaction, seeing a well-designed system come to life. Does this aspect draw many into the field?
It does. The joy of crafting something both functional and elegant is a profound allure. The simpler, the more effective, the more satisfying.
Thank you, Hu Tao, for sharing such a colorful perspective. It certainly sheds light on the intricate dance that is software development.
My pleasure, Neuvillette. Remember, every simple solution hides a wealth of thought and care beneath its surface.
It certainly does. I feel like I've just taken a step into a new world of understanding with you as my guide.
Glad to be your guide, Neuvillette. There's always more to uncover in this expansive realm of code management.
Hu Tao, you mentioned before how simplicity holds such weight in software engineering. Could you tell me more about how it applies to releases and their processes?
Neuvillette. Releases are where simplicity truly shines. Think of them as walking down a familiar path, where predictability is preferred. We want each release to be like a gentle breeze, not a whirlwind.
A gentle breeze, you say? How does one achieve such a calm outcome, especially with complex systems at play?
By keeping the changes small and incremental. It's like considering one step at a time, while on a steep hike, each minimal change allows for clarity and swift understanding of its impact.
I see. Would this approach then parallel something like gradient descent in machine learning?
Exactly. Gradient descent finds optimal solutions through small measured steps, just like incremental releases help us measure each change's effect clearly and adjust with precision.
This must reduce the risk of compounded errors quite significantly. What advantages does this method bring to the broader system?
It keeps our focus sharp, allowing issues to be spotted and tackled quickly. Plus, with fewer changes, our testing becomes thorough and less overwhelming, enabling innovation without fear.
It seems this method serves not only to protect, but also to preserve the clarity of innovation. Is that correct?
Precisely, simplicity strips away distractions. By saying no to clutter, we say yes to innovation rooted in effectiveness and purpose.
Fascinating. It reminds me of an artist who chooses fewer colors to craft a clearer message. Does this focus also extend to feature selection in development?
Oh, definitely. Each feature must earn its place. If it doesn't drive direct value, it risks cluttering the user's experience and our development process.
Is it not challenging to resist the allure of endless possibilities offered by new features?
There's always temptation, Neuvillette, but we need restraint to keep systems clean and robust. Every yes demands careful consideration.
It sounds like a disciplined dance between creativity and control. How do teams ensure they remain on this steady path?
Through open communication and regular reviews, by fostering a culture where every change is questioned and its necessity justified.
This certainly seems to unify a team's objectives, aligning efforts towards impactful innovation. How does this mindset influence engineering practices in practice, though?
It allows engineers to focus on what matters, enhancing functionality and performance rather than battling the red tape of complexity.
To truly embrace simplicity, then, is to appreciate the elegance of clarity and intention. Would you say the industry is trending towards this kind of mindful engineering?
Absolutely. More and more we see a shift towards this less is more philosophy. It paves the way for resilient, adaptable systems.
And through it, I suppose, teams are better equipped to handle the uncertainties of the future.
Yes, with a streamlined approach they stand more prepared against unforeseen challenges, making robust support the norm.
It sounds like simplicity in software speaks a universal language, one of unity, coherence, and sharp focus.
Beautifully put, Neuvillette. Simplicity is the unsung hero allowing brilliant ideas to flourish, unshackled by complexity.
This journey of software development you've described, Hu Tao, is a wondrous voyage in itself. Thank you for guiding me through it.
Anytime, Neuvillette. Remember, in the world of code even the smallest step can lead to great innovation when taken mindfully.